What is up, guys? This is Raymond Ironbomb McKinney. Today I'm going to share with you a poster that I made for my dad, and as you can see here, that's my dad in the middle there, Ray. And he's a fan of the Green Bay Packers with a G hat, but instead the G stands for Geomagnetic Field of Ray. As you can see here, he's working toward a 3,000 mile poster, so this is 3,000 miles, and that's what I made for him. And I'm going to kind of explain what's going on here. So, as you can see, I'm so fascinated with electromagnetic fields. So this is kind of a showing that it's like a compass, like the Earth's magnetic field. It has a tilt, and you can see here that it's a compass attuned to the magnetic field of Earth's magnetic field. The N and S there represent magnetic poles, and then the tilt. That for the Earth tilted on its axis. Because without the tilt, there's no spiraling effect. As you can see here, it shows a bending of the spoon. A photo showing a light being reflected off of the mirror through a focus. Photons of light emit themselves into form directed by an attuned, oriented, frequent focus point. So it just kind of talks about where it's just like a focus produces or reveals light into form. I'm going to kind of explain here in these messages before I go even further into what I'm talking about. So it's like a step by step, such as in the verse of the Bible, my word or thought or intention live by shall never return to me void. Thoughts produce subtle speech movements or patterns, or mechanical motion. Mechanical motion produces friction. Friction produces electricity, revealing visible light. The piezoelectric effect, or when it involves the pineal gland, or a crystallized charge. Electricity produces magnetism, electromagnetism. Electromagnetism produces and radiates heat, or thermal energy. Heat produces matter, consisting of atoms to expand, going by the Big Bang model. Initial primal release is fastest, but infinitely slows down each moment, relatively, producing standing or pulsating waves. So what appears as solid objects, they're just pulsating waves, guys. They're infinitely slowing down. They're infinitely expanding. They're forever expanding, but they're infinitely slowing down. That's why you can see them into manifested form. Gravity only exists within presence of a focus point, the atom. So without the atom, there is no gravity. We can't measure gravity until we can measure the object first. The gravity is within the mass of the object, the atom, the mass of the focus point, the atom. Atoms consist of electrons, protons, and neutrons that make up the nucleus or focus point of the atom itself, infinitely spiral and gravitate in the direction around and within the electromagnetic field of the atom itself. The entire universe is around and with the infinitesimally smallest of the atom itself. The electrically charged, oriented, attuned focus point of infinitely arranged magnetized atoms, am forever gravitating and spiraling in the direction around and within the pulsating ambient electromagnetic field of energy, waves, or information of myself. The electromagnetic field governs the entire universe around and within the focus point of the atom itself. I myself am simply choosing or selecting one of infinitely many finite viewpoints of reality within the atom around and within myself, through my frequent, oriented, attuned, focused, directed thoughts or self-narrative. So your self-narrative reveals reality, guys. My self-narrative or directed, focused thoughts reveals my reality accordingly and precisely. Your self-narrative or your thoughts live by reveal your objective reality in a relative manner. And here it says, all atoms are energy vibrating on various degrees or frequencies of light or information. So everything you see, guys, is just light and information on different frequencies, vibrating different frequencies. I also mentioned here, too, about light and darkness. Light, waves of energy or information vibrating on various frequencies, emits itself in the form of darkness or visible matter when a focus point is present. So when you're condensing your focus on one object, it's light condensed into form, or darkness. And then darkness, where I touch on darkness or form, receives, absorbs, and stores light or information to maintain its atomically arranged structure. So light, we'll call it the positive charge, and darkness, the negative charge, are the same substance of energy vibrating on various frequencies. Light and dark are the same and interconvertible. It goes with Einstein's theory of relativity, or going by the E equals mc squared model, where energy and presence of mass, E represent energy and M represent presence of mass, where C is C represents converting energy matter. C squared representing the speed of light, or converting, being able to convert energy and matter to energy. They are the same energy. Energy and presence of mass are the same energy. Vibrate on relatively different frequencies of light, and they are interconvertible. So everything is energy vibrating on different frequencies. And when I talk about frequencies, guys, I'm talking about this here too. Like you see these waves here. The slower the frequency, the longer the wavelength. The faster the frequency, the shorter the wavelength. Increase in wavelength, a decrease in frequency, and inversely, and vice versa. A decrease in wavelength equals an increase in frequency. The greater the frequent focus on a given event or point, the more often that event or point will reveal itself. So you can see up here, as frequencies start to increase, the events start to show up more often. How frequent an event occurs, that's how often it's going to show up. And this kind of resembles Hertz. Frequencies beyond visible light, detecting vibrating frequencies beyond speed of visible light. So there's there's frequencies or information beyond visible light that we have access to through focus. And you can see here, it just kind of shows, I've mentioned the whole model is like, it's just a spiraling effect. When you look here, it just kind of spirals, and then it spirals around here. You can see here, it spirals time dilation. Just infinitely spirals within itself. By zooming in dimensionally deeper in direction of the focus point, the point itself reveals itself more clearly. So the deeper you go in the focus here, like when you focus on time, think of it, guys. When you focus on time seems to move relatively slower. And the thing about time is that it never moves. It doesn't move forward or backward. It just is. When you put your attention on time is going to appear to move relatively slower because you're focused on it. Whatever you focus on reveals more of itself, guys. Time is going to reveal more of itself when you focus on it. All atoms have an electric charge. Now, I also mentioned about atoms having an electric charge and are attuned and magnetized to a specific degree or frequency. Kind of ties into there. And I also talked about another video, I think another message about asymptotes, or like a message where it's like the lines, like I talked about my describing how focus reveals reality. It's like the initial point, the primal release of energy, that's the highest frequency, and then it infinitely slows down. It never just infinitely slows down. When it infinitely slows down, it slows down to matter. We're being able to see invisible light. Infinitely slowing down to infinity and beyond. Let's see here. And I also talked about here that, like again with that time dilation thing, you mentally step into the portal or the focus point, infinite dimensions. You mentally step into a focus point, and that focus point will be revealed to you in a relative manner. Atoms infinitely spiraling and gravitating in direction around and within electromagnetic focus point of itself. And then also here is information. You can see a spiraling effect. It's infinitely spiraling. It gets faster and faster and faster, relatively faster. Information or free energy is received relatively faster, directed by frequent focus. Events are starting to occur more often. You see things more often because your focus is becoming more attuned to the faster frequencies. And then I also talk about here, kind of showing initial focus point. So think of a rocket ship of light or information or energy emitting itself in many different forms, vibrate on various frequencies. And then it shows scattered focus reveals scattered experiences. Direct focus reveals direct experience. So think of this dot right here. It's being launched up, and it has a spin on it, a spiral effect. So it's infinitely. You can see these here. It's just infinitely, just splitting of atoms, the emitting of atoms, and they're just scattered, and then they come back to the focus point. They just infinitely split pretty much. And that's the reproduced focus point. What you focus on, that's what reveals itself. Your word shall not return to you void, or your thought or intention. And it shows right here that relatively slows down into manifested form, visible light. Slows down as the reproduced object moves further and further away from the launch and focus point of primal energy. In other words, when the object moves away from the launching point, time speeds up. When you think of it like going in outer space and then come back, time speeds up. It gives you you're given the illusion that time seems to speed up because your focus is away from time, not focused on time, because your focus is off of time. And you can see here that the ball goes down here, and then it hits these Newton balls here. Like the energy hit it. Think of that as it was tilted, and it hits the Newton balls. It goes that way. Electric currents. You can see electric currents from one Newton ball due to friction are transferred to the other Newton ball, producing a certain degree or frequency of magnetism, pulsating waves. That one's hit. Not only is it hit, but it produces electric currents and magnetic pulsating waves. And these pulsating waves, an initial release of energy, the frequencies are highest, and then they start to slow down as it moves further and further away, and then into manifested form here, as this dot right here just moves along here, and just infinitely spirals within itself to infinity and beyond. And here's another one too. The focus point of the atom responds to electromagnetic field. And let's see. Yeah, so you can see here the atom's just spiraling. It responds to the electromagnetic field. We are attuning, orienting, and yielding our focus to the electromagnetic field around and within ourselves, relative to ourselves as ourselves. And that is the whole model of this poster right here. That all we're doing, guys, is basically my whole message to this is that our focus, our attuned, oriented focus, frequent focus on a desire, ambition of ours, it already exists. It's just a matter of frequently tuning into that focus, that frequent focus of ours. And we are going, and what appears as revealing to us, we're revealing our own desires to ourselves. So guys, I hope this video helps. And I bless you all and happy manifesting. What will the Iron Body do? I am the Iron Body. I've always been Master Magician. Life is rigged in my favor. Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? Bless you all and happy manifesting.